Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to Convert to Islam Story, a channel dedicated to sharing the inspiring journeys of people who have embraced Islam. Today, we're excited to share with you the story of Addison Castillon, a revert to Islam who has had an incredible experience since converting to the religion.
Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Addison Castillon and I am a Muslim revert. So I've been a Muslim now for about 2.5 years, alhamdulillah. I reverted in November 2018, around that time. So it's been about 2.5 years. Alhamdulillah, these years have been honestly the best years of my life. I've completely transformed into the best version of myself.
Her story is a testament to the power of faith, love, and acceptance. We hope that by sharing her story, we can inspire others to explore the beauty of Islam and find their own path towards spiritual fulfillment. So sit back, relax, and join us as we dive into the inspiring journey of Addison Castillon on Convert to Islam Story.
Before that, please subscribe and turn on the notification to receive updates on other inspiring stories.
Addison Castillon, a Muslim leader, had been researching Islam for about a year before she officially decided to convert in November 2018. She had always been a spiritual person and had studied Buddhism, but had not found a religion that she connected with until she learned about Islam through her now husband, who was the first Muslim she ever met.
But I was very spiritual. I had studied Buddhism, I was very into spirituality, but I didn't connect with any religion that I had found so far. I actually learned about Islam through the person who is now my husband.
They met in New York City while they were living in a shared apartment. At first, they were just friends who hung out with each other and their mutual friends. However, as they spent more time together, Addison became curious about Islam and asked her husband to explain the religion to her. She was particularly interested in the Salah prayer and how it reminded her of yoga or meditation.
And I would see him do things like make namaz, make salah, prayer. And I would always be really interested. Like, oh, what are you doing? What does this mean? It kind of reminded me of a form of yoga or meditation. And I was like, wow, this is really great. This is nice, and I loved how he did it 5 times a day. This was always nice. He took time out of his day, multiple times a day, to connect with God.
Addison was drawn to Islam's emphasis on connecting with God multiple times a day through prayer and was inspired by her husband's dedication to the faith. She admired how he took time out of his day 5 times a day to connect with God through Salah. As she learned more about Islam, she found that it aligned with her spiritual beliefs and values.
And for every single thing that I doubted or that didn't make sense to me, I would find an answer for every single thing that was logical, that had aligned with my previous beliefs. Everything I found was such a logical way of life. Everything. I remember I would find something and then I'd learn the reason for it and I'm like, oh my God, wow.
After converting to Islam, Addison's life transformed in the best way possible. She felt that she had become the best version of herself and that her newfound faith had given her purpose and direction.
So, alhamdulillah, I converted. I finally took the decision. I was full on into it. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna convert. And Islam gave me the guidelines and the ways to do so. That in every single thing that I do, eating, sleeping, talking, the way I dress, every single thing, I can connect with my spirituality and demonstrate my faith through those actions.
Ramadan would fast during Ramadan, and when she asked him about it, he explained the importance of practicing self-control and spiritual discipline, having compassion and empathy for the poor, and focusing on spirituality for the month. She was fascinated by the practice and decided to try it herself. She wasn't fully committed to fasting and didn't do it for religious purposes, but she tried her best and had a rewarding experience. It was a celebration of Ramadan, and being around Muslims during the month was a great experience.
And when he would be fasting, first of all, I asked him, what is Ramadan, what are you doing? And he told me all about Ramadan, how they fast to practice self-control, spiritual discipline, these kinds of things, having compassion and empathy for the poor, learning, not focusing on physical things, but focusing more on spirituality for this month. So I was like, wow, this is incredible. This practice is great. Even non-Muslims should do this.
It was a celebration of Ramadan, and being around Muslims during the month was a great experience. She became curious about Islam and started to research it. However, she found a lot of negative information on the internet that made her dislike Islam.
But then when I started learning more about Islam and kind of doing my research, I found a lot of things on the internet, a lot of things that were just that I did not like at all.
she talked to her friend, who was still her friend at the time, about what she found. He explained that those negative aspects were not Islam, but rather culture. He helped her learn more about Islam by giving her good sources and approaching the topic in a friendly and non-forceful manner. She began to realize that a lot of the negative aspects she found online were actually an intertwinement of culture and religion, not the religion itself.
He would have such a friendly approach to it that it really, his approach was so nice and not forceful and not trying to impose his beliefs on me that I was willing and wanting to learn more about it. I learned more, and then I started to realize how a lot of the things that I had found were an intertwinement of culture and religion and not the religion itself. So basically, I would find things online and I would question it in a way that was doubtful. Okay, like I would be doubtful of something and I would question it.
She questioned everything she found and found logical answers to each of her doubts. She found that Islam was a logical way of life that aligned with her previous beliefs. She recalls her journey of discovering Islam and converting to the faith. She describes how everything she learned about Islam made perfect sense to her and empowered women in ways that Western society has yet to grasp.
And for every single thing that I doubted or that didn't make sense to me, I would find an answer for every single thing that was logical, that had aligned with my previous beliefs. That was everything I found was such a logical way of life. Everything. I remember I would find something and then I'd learn the reason for it and I'm like, oh my god, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Why doesn't everyone do this? You know?
Addison shares how doubt was the beginning of her wisdom as she embarked on her research of Islam, initially unsure if she would find things she disagreed with. However, as she delved deeper into the faith, she fell in love with its teachings and found a beautiful way to connect with God. She describes Islam as a conscious way of living, with guidelines for every aspect of life, from eating to sleeping to speaking, providing a way to practice her faith in her everyday life.
And Islam gave me the guidelines and the ways to do so, that in every single thing that I do, eating, sleeping, talking, the way I dress, every single thing, I can connect with my spirituality and demonstrate my faith through those actions.
Before officially converting, Addison took baby steps, starting by eating halal. She had struggled with being vegetarian, but the mass production and treatment of animals never sat well with her. Learning about halal and how it involves treating animals humanely resonated with her and aligned with her beliefs.
So when I learned about halal and how it's a conscious way of eating, you're aware of what you're putting into your body, you're aware of where your meat comes from. In order for it to be halal, it has to be treated humanely. There's a lot of these, it's kind of like free range, organic. There's a whole thing, a whole list of standards in order for it to be halal. And
eventually, Addison fully committed to the faith and converted to Islam. She was drawn to the idea of eating halal, a conscious and thoughtful way of consuming food that adheres to specific standards. She appreciated the mindfulness that came with having dietary restrictions and thinking about the source and quality of her food. Eventually, she made the decision to convert to Islam and fully embrace the faith.
So, alhamdulillah, I converted. I finally took the decision. I was full on into it. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna convert.
At the time of her conversion, Addison was living with her now husband, whom she had been friends with for 2 years. They were close and spent most days together. After falling in love, they got married in 2019 with the blessings of their mutual understanding and deep connection.
It was great because he had already been my best friend. And so, alhamdulillah, the feeling was mutual. And, we had great intentions. We loved each other. So we're like, let's get married. We knew each other. It's not like we had not known each other already. We knew each other very well. So, alhamdulillah, we got married in 2019.
Addison credits her husband's peaceful approach to teaching her Islam for helping her flourish in every aspect of her life. She feels grateful for the sense of peace and tranquility that Islam has brought to her life and the way it has helped her become the best version of herself.
I'm so happy to have met him, for him to have introduced this into my life. And I'm so thankful for his approach that he had while teaching me Islam. It was never forceful. It was never in a way that he thought his way of life was better than mine.
She is currently visiting her husband's family in India and cherishes everything that her faith has brought to her life. As a convert to Islam, Addison Castillon often gets asked about her journey to Islam. She explains that she prefers the term revert since she believes that everyone is born believing in one God. She believes that Allah is just the Arabic word for God and not some special God that they worship.
It's just that we like to say revert because we believe that everyone is born believing in one God, believing that there's one superpowered creator, which is we consider Allah. Allah is just the Arabic word for God. It's not some special God that we worship, it's just God. That's what we believe Allah is.
However, when she first connected with Islam in her heart and knew she wanted to convert, she was hesitant to tell her friends and family. As an anti-religious person, she felt like a hypocrite and was worried about their reaction. She had many thoughts racing through her head, wondering if they would accept her decision or if she would lose friends.
I had been a very anti-religious person my entire life. So for me to kind of like all of a sudden want to be, I was very into Islam. And I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like, how are my friends and family going to react? I've always been the person that like, oh, religion is bad, all these things. So I was really hesitant about telling them.
She also worried about the misconceptions surrounding Islam, such as whether she converted for a man or if she was forced to convert.
A new way of life that I was going to live. And I was thinking, are they going to accept it? Is it going to be hard? Am I going to lose friends? Is my family going to be critical of me wanting to convert? Are they going to think that I converted for this man? Are they going to think that he forced me? You know, all these misconceptions about Islam. I had so many thoughts racing through my head. I was so scared.
Despite her fears, Addison's family and friends fully embraced her decision to follow Islam. She was proud of her family for accepting her and her husband, without questioning anything. They had some questions about Islam, such as the meaning of hijab and why she wore it. Addison explained that it was her decision and not something forced upon her.
But alhamdulillah, my family and friends fully embraced my decision to follow Islam. I had let this fear of criticism of others hold me back from making such a great decision for my life. And when I finally told them, they were so accepting of me. Alhamdulillah, I have such a great family. I'm so proud of my family. I'm more proud of my family after this.
Addison was happy to share that her husband's family also fully embraced her, even though intercultural marriages are not common in India, where her husband is from. She is grateful for the acceptance she received and believes that her journey to Islam has brought her closer to her family and friends. Addison was also fortunate to have a positive experience with the Muslim community. They treated her like any other Muslim and welcomed her with open arms. She acknowledged that many revert face criticism from both their families and the Muslim community, but she was lucky to have had a great experience.
Alhamdulillah, for me, I had a good experience with the Muslim community as well. Everyone was welcoming. They treated me like any other Muslim. It was incredible. Everything for me, alhamdulillah, has been a great experience, so I'm very thankful for that.
Addison's friends were also accepting of her decision to convert, and she had not lost any friends due to her new lifestyle. She had many Muslim friends who shared her faith and helped her grow in her faith together. Addison loved learning about Islam and had an Instagram account dedicated to Islam and modest fashion. Overall, her experience as a convert to Islam had been amazing, and she was happy to have found her new way of life.
I had no friends that were Muslim. Now, alhamdulillah, I can say I have many friends. All of my friends that I had before I converted to Islam are still my best friends today.
She also has a TikTok account and a personal blog where she dedicates herself to teaching about the basic principles of Islam, hoping to provide a source of information for new converts who may be seeking perspective on certain things. Being a convert herself, she understands how important it is to have these types of resources to help connect with Islam. She hopes to inspire others with her journey and share her experiences with Islam with everyone, regardless of their faith. She encourages everyone to follow her on Instagram, TikTok, and her blog to stay connected and continue learning.
I love increasing my faith every day. I have an Instagram account dedicated to Islam, modest fashion. It's also my personal account. I share some things about my family, my husband, things on there. But I'm trying to dedicate it to Islam, convert help, modest fashion, lifestyle, Islamic lifestyle, things like that. I also have a TikTok account.
That concludes the story of Addison Castillon, a brave and inspiring woman who found her path to Islam. Her journey teaches us about the power of faith, perseverance, and the importance of having a supportive community. We hope that her story has inspired you and helped you in your own journey, whether you are a convert or not. Thank you for watching Convert to Islam Story, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this. Assalamu alaikum.